What's up, everybody? Welcome back into TK Wrestling. I'm kind of stealing that from LA Knight, I guess. What's up, everybody? We're back. We're back with another TK pod. Going to talk a little bit about SmackDown at the top of the show because it was a pretty great episode. I think.
You got, like you said, usually SmackDown's back and forth, but man, there's some stuff this week on SmackDown that we got to hit.
Yeah, pretty great episode of SmackDown, and then Monday Night Raw. 3 title matches, a really eventful night.
And a battle royale or whatever, or mini Royal Rumble, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, we'll jump more into it, and as you guys know, I already know by the time you're seeing this, but we got a vacated championship, a battle royal for the #1 contender. Man, Monday Night Raw was packed, like legit jam packed. It felt like a really good old school episode of Monday Night Raw where everything was just like intertwined and it was running all together and it was really good timing everywhere. I thought it was a really fun show.
Dude, it was banging so hard that you would think that Saturday night's main event was a bigger PLE than what it's going to be, right?
Right.
It was smacking on all these levels, like we're about to just clean slate a whole bunch of stuff is what it feels like. It's just nuts. All right, but first, I got to get your opinion on some SmackDown things. Let's start. Let's start first, man. Jacob Fatu is hurt. We're not sure exactly what, right? There were teeth on the ground and everything, but this SmackDown was largely dominated by Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, right? This was Cody coming out, starting SmackDown, talking, explaining away his loss to Seth Rollins, by the way. Trying to make it seem like it wasn't a big deal that Seth beat him at Crown Jewel. Whatever, dude. The worst part is that Seth's out, as we talked about, vacated title and everything on Raw. That's the worst part because, man, that was a great match. That move that apparently Seth hurt himself on, dude, how many dudes, you've seen more wrestling than I have, but how many dudes jumping across the ring like that, from the top rope?
It's pretty popular. It's called the coast to coast. That's so if you do so what they said last night on Raw was that he was trying to do a coast to coast headbutt. Right. And I'm just never, and maybe I just haven't watched enough Tyler Black from before he was Seth Rollins, but never have I ever seen Seth Rollins try to do a coast to coast diving headbutt.
That's kind of what I'm saying. If Finn Balor did it, I wouldn't be surprised, if Penta did it, I wouldn't be surprised, but Seth, I wasn't ready for Seth to go. Not that he's Bronson Reed. If Bronson Reed went coast to coast tsunami, you'd be like, oh God,
right.
The whole ring would come down probably. But still, that just felt maybe a bridge too far for Seth Rollins at this point in his career, and as it proved to be the vacating. But like I said, Cody comes out there talking about it's no big deal. He lost to Seth. Sure, he didn't lose the title, but come on, man. Look, how did you feel? How important do you feel like Crown Jewel is? Because I thought Crown Jewel, let's be honest here, was a spectacular PLE, right? Between Seth and Cody, Cena and AJ, Stephanie and Tiffy. And Bronson Reed and Roman. Just so many good matches.
Yeah.
I'm leaving one out. But yeah, so what do you think? What do you think about Cody right now? And are we seeing the beginning of the Cody heel turn that we've been hearing about for a while?
I'm hoping so, man. I think at this point, all roads lead to Randy Orton. I think that's what it has to be for Cody. I think that's what it's got to be for Cody. And I think it's just really, what is the dynamic going into that match? Is Randy the guy on the way out in the next few years who wants to try to catch up to Cena and hit 17? Or is Cody the guy that's like, look, I know you were my teacher at one point, but what's that whole thing about students surpassing the master? It's history rewritten every single time. And so Cody's tasted losing that championship once. And so I just wonder if, yes, I think if maybe we are seeing the heel turn slowly coming to fruition. Right now we start to see the seeds. And I think what a lot of people have wanted for a long time is a lot of people compare him to the, help me out, the guy from The Boys.
So the main character? Who are we talking about?
Yeah, the Superman copy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Homelander.
Yeah, Homelander.
Everybody wants him to be Homelander-esque, he behind the scenes.
He's got the regalia.
Yeah,
that was one of
exactly.
The first things I was stunned was how much his regalia matched Homelander, who was such a villain. And it works for the nickname, the American Nightmare, but at no point he's felt like the American Dream at this point the whole time. He's felt,
right.
I know that's his dad and everything, but I mean, he's felt like the dream so far. Like, we haven't really seen the night, or I haven't seen the nightmare, you know? So
Yeah, because I've said that to you before, is you haven't gotten the benefit of seeing heel Cody after he left WWE.
right, right. I
He
didn't
was
see any of
heel a
that.
few times before
Yeah.
he left, like while he was in the company, but being heel outside of the WWE was, I think, what really catapulted Cody to that next stage in his career and really solidified him as a main eventer. But yeah, I think we are starting to see the little subtle things here and there that are giving us that idea that maybe Cody's head is starting to get a little too big, and maybe now he's going to do whatever it takes to keep that championship, and he's still going to keep that. He's cookie cutter, baby face, white meat, outer shell exterior to the crowd, while masking his true intentions of evil. If you want to see a good example of how I think Cody's heel turn should go, Adam Blompied on YouTube, he has his own channel called Blopco. He is notorious for doing like how I would book things, and he just booked how he would do Cody's heel turn in AEW when Cody was in AEW, and I think he basically hit every nail on the head. I think it was pretty spot on and perfect. So I think go check that video out. But yeah, I think that not only is it long overdue, but I think it may be finally happening. I stopped doubting WWE when it came to heel turns after they finally did it with Roman. Roman Reigns was the one guy that I was like, if they ever turn Roman heel, then anything is possible, because they just refused to do it for so long. But yeah, I think we're starting to slowly see the psyche of Cody maybe take that advantage. And I will say, I'll call it right now, just because in case somebody wants to reference this video later on, I wouldn't be surprised if Cody drops that title to Randy at WrestleMania, and that really solidifies the snap of the mental psyche of Cody and really pushes him over the edge. Imagine losing it to your mentor after talking all that game, and then then you drop the title again, the one thing that you swore to hold on to.
I mean, I get that too, but man, I want him to lose it to Drew first. You know, I mean, and that's kind of where the other way we're going is that it's SmackDown Friday night. We were supposed to have the number one contenders match between Drew and Jacob, but Jacob gets attacked backstage. Now, who attacked him? Cody comes out making it seem like it was Drew, and we got one of the that was a fun interact. Like, I don't know what that was. It wasn't a match. It was just it's like a street fight kind of, right?
Yeah, Cody again.
Suit.
And so again, what I talked about with Raw, feeling like an old school episode of Raw, Cody just like saying, screw it, ring the bell while he's in the suit. Mm-hmm. Is so old, man. That's Ric Flair. That's Triple H. That's so classic, bro. I loved that shit. I gotta say it. I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was tons of fun. You know, I love this little rivalry, but like the big question, like, you know, for people as old as I am, it used to be who shot JR. Now it's who attacked Fatu. You know,
well, yeah, go ahead.
No. I know there's a bunch of rumors. There's the idea that it was Cody. You know, I've heard that floated around. I've also heard the idea that it was you know, Solo could have been involved. You know, and the MFT.
I hope not.
You know, I mean, Solo just showing up randomly, right? Okay, so anything else on this Drew, Cody, Fatu thing you want? Because like I said, that's the big mystery now. Tell me what you know or what you think about the Fatu injury. What do you think happened there?
I really look. My gut immediately tells me that it's Cody. That Cody did it, because
why does everybody think Cody did it? Besides,
because
like, he heel. Like, what's?
Because here's the thing: if Drew did it, Drew would own up to it. Drew wouldn't be like,
"That's fair.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it." Drew would be laughing and bragging about the fact that he did it. No, and so fair. The fact that Cody came out and was like, no, we're not talking about it anymore. We know you did it. And Drew was like, no, literally, dude, I did not do this. Like, this was not me. And so it gives me the impression of maybe down the line we visit, and this would be if Cody turns heel, right? That's the only way this makes sense, is if down the line is whatever.
No, this has to be like the precursor to a heel thing.
Yeah, right. The only way it makes sense is if we find out down the line that Cody, through heelish tactics, was maybe a little intimidated to defend that title against Fatu. Maybe he knew that Fatu was going to beat Drew, and he was even a little scared to face Jacob at that moment in time. Because look, we got reports before the show that Fatu was out for an extended period of
No,
time.
like I said,
and so I was curious.
World,
I was curious how they were going to do it. And so whenever they did the backstage attack, I was like, well, this is awesome. But then whenever Nick Aldis came out and was like, I know you did it, Drew. I know it was you. And Drew wasn't immediately like, well, yeah, I did that. Of course it was me. I really firmly believe that Drew didn't do it. I don't think it was him.
No, I'm with you. I don't think Drew did it either. Yeah. No, I'm with and I love the fact that you're right. Like, why didn't I think Drew did it? You put the nail on the head that I couldn't figure out. It's because Drew would have owned up to it. Drew would have lavished in it. Drew wouldn't have left. He would be sitting there laughing at Jacob, picking up the teeth and throwing them at him. Like, that's the thing, though, that really has me curious, right? Like, what did happen to Jacob that they had Chiclet's teeth on the ground? Like, in real world injury, whatever the heck happened to him, did he get smacked in the face? Like, I mean, did he actually lose some teeth in real life? Like that, I'm just feeling for Jacob. That man's had a hard life. Finally feels like he got his life on track with the WWE and everything else. So I'm hoping, for Jacob here, dude, you're so much fun to watch. I hope you're okay. Like I said, same with Seth, of course, but we don't give Jacob Fatu enough love. He's all gas, no brakes all the time, dude. So much fun to watch.
Hey, and when he comes back, bro, that pop is going to be insane. Dude, and imagine you thought he was in good shape now. Dude, it never fails. A guy or a gal goes away on an extended leave of absence with an injury, and they almost always come back jacked, like so ripped. And so you thought Fatu was scary now? Oh my gosh! Wait, if he gets 9 months on the shelf to just rehab
if he takes away a little bit of that chub and turns it into some.
He already was. So
it could be like, look at what Solo's done the last 6 months. It looks like.
Yeah. And for all we know, this could have been like a nagging injury that Jacobs dealt with for a long time because in wrestling before now, he was wrestling for companies that weren't nearly as big, and maybe now he's like, man, this thing has really been bothering me for a while, and they were like, well, we can take care of that now, and so maybe it's just something that was nagging that he got a surgery for something. Or
I hope the teeth thing just bothered me.
It was pretty. It's shock factor. Shock factor. It was good. Yeah.
All right, but here's the thing. Like, if Cody did it, I don't know. Like, it's weird for him to come out and blame or whatever. If Cody did, I feel like we just wouldn't see like, for the fact he came out and acted like he didn't do it and was so vehement, that I'm going to kick your butt, Drew. I don't know. That kind of threw me a little bit, but I don't know. I haven't seen Cody's heel turn.
Well, but again, think of Homelander. What does Homelander do? He's like
it's so weird to think of Cody being dishonest, I guess,
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, he's the American dream right now. He is truth, justice, and the American way in my eyes. So if Cody would come out there and lie and put the blame on somebody else when he knows it's him, for me, that's like he's already healed. Then the heel turn already happened. We saw it. You know what I mean?
I like to tell people you should think of Cody's character as a modern day politician. He is just a modern day politician in a wrestling ring. That's really what he is, bro. He's gonna say what people want to hear, and then eventually his real characters maybe will come to light, and we're gonna be like, man, and you know what? He's not going to change. He's still going to say what people want to hear, and we're just going to know differently now. So then he's going to be like a super mega heel because people are going to hate him so much.
I don't want him to be Homelander. I've been used to him being Superman, who Homelander is based on. And it's like
exactly.
I've been used to him being Superman. I want him to be Superman. All right. So we'll see where that goes. Because, I mean, I don't know. Are we getting Cody Drew at Saturday Night Main Event? Because we don't know what the Saturday Night Main Events are.
I'm sure they'll confirm that, but I think it should be.
I feel like that's coming up. All right. The other big SmackDown thing I want to talk about real fast. Sami Zayn's been doing that open contender. We saw the Miz come out, try to get it. Carmelo took the Miz out. So that to be continued. We've been talking about waiting for the Miz and Carmelo to break up, how that's going to go. Obviously, check out SmackDown this Friday. I'm sure that storyline is going to be probably one of the featured storylines. We could get a Carmelo Miz Saturday Night Main Event match.
I was about to say, please add that to Saturday Night's Main Event.
There we go, right there. That could be another book. But your boy, Ilya Dragunov, comes back. How excited were you? Because this guy was like after my time and has not been during my new time. So for me, I was like, I've heard of this guy and I've heard he was coming back, but I know nothing.
Yeah, shocked.
Match,
Yeah, shocked that he came back on SmackDown. I thought for sure when he came back, he's going to be on Raw, so that way he could be on the same side as Gunther.
He came back on SmackDown, but he came back and immediately won a title.
Yeah, well, so I'm shocked that it was Ilya. I'm not shocked that Sammy lost it.
That's
Because
fair.
if you remember a few weeks back, I said that reports were coming out about Sammy that this U.S. title run was really just an experiment to see how the audience would react to Sammy winning the
Right.
title. Because rumors are that he is heavily favored to win the Royal Rumble in next year because it's in Saudi Arabia, and you know his background is all linked in there. So I don't want to sound stupid by trying to explain it because I'm not I'm not as informed as some, but the favorite to win the Royal Rumble is Sami Zayn, and so a lot of the belief was that this run was to, cast a little bit out and just, see if the fish are biting and see how Sammy was over with the crowd as a champion, especially whenever Cody wasn't there as an injured champion, might I add. And so I'm not surprised to see Sammy drop it, surprised to see that Ilya was the one to take it off of him, but also not surprised that Ilya wins the title. I think it's kind of long overdue. I think that if he would have come back on Raw, I think he would have been slotted right into the Intercontinental Championship scene. So I think that Ilya was a perfect call. And again, another guy that was on the shelf for months. And then if you go look at before and after pictures of him, dude bulked up. He
That's
got
what I've heard as well.
huge.
I've heard like that Dragunov just took that time and put on
Dude, he looks like he put on
crazy.
like 25 or 30 pounds of muscle, dude. He looks jacked.
Well, I'll tell you what, he was moving incredible. Like that match was so much fun with him and Sammy. Like literally, I was not ready for that, and on any level, and I certainly wasn't ready for Sammy to lose to him. Like I'm with you that I realized Sammy was going to give it up, but I didn't realize he was going to give it up to Dragunov. Makes it really interesting. Immediately puts Dragunov in the picture, and also gives us somebody new, I guess. Now, like you said, that Fatu's out. And who knows what's going to happen with some of these other guys. But the funny thing was Solo coming out just to not to do anything,
Yeah.
to be there.
Yep, just to be there. I tell you what, you bring up a good point about it expanding the field in terms of like who we get to now see with somebody new with a championship, and it's not Drew, it's not Fatu, it's not Solo, it's somebody new. And I tell you what, man, give me Ilya Dragunov and Aleister Black like right now. Inject it into my veins. I need that match ASAP.
There was that Aleister Black promo as well with him and you know who I'm talking about. Why am I blanking? His girl.
Zelina Vega.
Yeah, Vega. Yeah, him and Vega doing the thing now. So, I'm curious because Aleister Black, I mean, wow, look, and I plan on spending this long on SmackDown, but hey. Aleister Black, he's slowly, I hope they run that angle because that feels like the angle I want to see Aleister Black in.
Yeah.
So I hope they run that angle. But it's really interesting because SmackDown feels like the B squad a little bit when it comes between Raw and SmackDown, right? I mean, Raw feels like the A squad. You got Punk, you've got LA Knight, you got Jay, you got Jimmy now, I guess. Jimmy moved.
Well, welcome to the WWE, Matt. Right? That's how it always goes.
Yeah,
yep. And you know what's so funny is Raw is always considered the A show, but then you look at in-ring talent, you look at in-ring work ethic, you look at like quality of matches, and you can go historically and look at this. Ever since SmackDown has been integrated, they'll get talent over on SmackDown, drain the swamp, drain the roster, move them over to Monday Night Raw, and then guys and gals get even more time on SmackDown, and then boom, more talent is cropping up. If you go talk about the beginning of SmackDown, it was the SmackDown 6. It was Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Rob Van Dam, Rey Mysterio, Edge, and there's one name that I'm forgetting, Chris Jericho, I think it was.
Gosh,
were the
SmackDown flyers, 6. Dude, those are all,
But and some of the most gifted technical wrestlers you'll ever see in your life as well. Yeah.
All sorts of crazy stuff, all those guys from Benoit to Jericho, all those guys.
Yeah. Like getting you down on the mat and showing you actual mat wrestling, leaping into the air, submission holds. Like literally, those guys did it all, and it was. And then you go every 5 years, there's a new crop of like SmackDown 6 or SmackDown 10, where it's just like SmackDown is putting on the better matches. Raw gets more time to do storytelling. It's typically how it goes. But yeah, dude, SmackDown's got some grade A players.
Like you said, SmackDown is getting interesting. We'll see. Like I said, because Damian Priest is still over there as well. We'll see what happens with this Drew McIntyre Cody thing. So we got Orton somewhere hiding in the wings, probably. And then Sami Zayn, where does he go from here? Dragunov. It's a lot of good stuff over there. But speaking of Raw, let's talk about last night. Then my man opens with yet again the explanation of the goodbye to Seth. I don't know if maybe some people needed this. I thought we all knew why. like the turn was obvious in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
We're all kind of waiting for Braun to turn and just take over, because how is that going to work, right? How do you keep calling a guy the future of the WWE and you're not putting a title on him? You can't keep calling a guy that. Like, even if Seth wasn't hurt, I don't believe that like this vision was going to last as long as some people believed it was without him hurt. Like, I felt like this was, like you said, Sammy's supposed to win the Rumble. Like, I felt like Braun was going to win the Rumble, and you could have Braun Seth right there. I mean, if Seth's still on the title,
yeah.
I mean, who knows? I know they all have future booking. I know you probably heard about, like, I think it was supposed to be Seth and Roman at WrestleMania, is what I read somewhere.
I heard that there was a Seth Roman. I heard Seth Punk. I heard Seth Braun. I've heard a lot.
But we get Braun to give up the title, or relinquish the title back to Adam Pearce, and yeah, and then and you saw that, just that way that they interacted. I guess you saw Braun taking that smug "say please" sort of thing, which was a lot of fun. But then like, I guess we see the need for Paul still, because Paul takes over on the mic, and this kind of became the Paul episode more than it did the Bronze episode, right? Like, I thought this was going to be a Bronze episode. I thought we were going to get more Braun Breaker on the mic, get a little Bronson Reed on the mic, but instead we get Paul, and we get Paul backstage. We get Paul throughout the episode, and I really don't know what side Paul's on at this point. I don't know. How did you feel about all that? Because, I mean, we got him talking backstage. We got him talking to Becky after her match. We got him, like, calling Seth a bitch and then turning around and going to Becky like, nah, did you not see? I kind of had to do what I had to do, And so it makes me wonder, I mean, not that we ever trust Paul in the first place, right? But, where does Paul lie in all this, Do you think this? Okay, here, maybe let me ask you this: do you feel like the Bronze really turned that without Paul having any clue?
See, it's so hard to tell. I want to say yes. But also we might find out 6 months from now that Paul's like, I knew all along.
I mean,
but he also he also kind of said, well, he also said that, like, when he joined up with Seth, it wasn't about joining up with Seth. It was about joining up with the future of WrestleMania, Braun Breaker, and about joining up with the guy that he always knew was better than Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed. And so, I mean, yeah, it feels a little pre-orchestrated, I would say, but also at the same time, I want to address what you said earlier about it feeling like a big Paul episode. I think it had to be a big Paul Heyman episode. I don't think that this was an episode that we needed a lot more of Braun or Bronson on the mic. I think because at the end of the day, we know why Braun and Bronson did it is because Seth was in their way. They considered him a stepping stone. But the guy that we really needed the explanation from was Paul. Like, why did you do it? And now you have to deal with the fact that Becky wasn't here last week, because sure, Becky wouldn't have stood a chance physically, but she would have been right there to, like, at least be in between. And imagine if she caught a spear from Braun Breaker, bro.
Oh my God, dude.
That would be. And you know what? Because this isn't over between him and Seth, so there's still a possibility that she might catch a really nasty spear from Braun Breaker one day in the future.
Diving and Bronson catches her and turns and,
I mean, the safer thing would probably have her to take a tsunami, because you can kind of control that, But regardless, there's got to be something that tips it over the edge where Becky's involved. But I think that this had to be.
She was going to get involved. Like you said, she wasn't there last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really consider that aspect. I just didn't, So when she was backstage with Paul, I was like, because they kind of, besides the couples match thing, they kind of keep her separate.
Yeah.
They don't make her like Paul even called her, "You're still part of the vision." He said she was still part of the vision.
Yeah.
So, and then Paul also had the conversation later with Adam Pearce about the Royal Rumble, and about how Braun and Bronson weren't going to be a part of it. And then, or the Battle Royale, whatever you want to call it. And then you had the conversation with Paul and Bronson and Braun about how they're not going to be a part of it, and they're okay with it. Like, there was just like you said, it's a very, very, very Paul heavy episode where like we saw that maybe he is needed, like if Braun did this all on his own, because I don't think Bronson was really even involved. Because you remember after Braun speared Seth, he turned to Bronson, he's like, "This is it, man. You in or you out." So it doesn't feel like maybe there was as much planning between the two of them as maybe we're led to believe, or the backs or revisionist history is going to correct and be like, no, 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 they had it both played out the whole time. But yeah, dude, I mean, it's just kind of fascinating, this whole, like, I think we've said it all year. This is the year Paul's trying for an Emmy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think the most fascinating thing about this whole Vision storyline and breakup is that this is the pivot. So we don't know where this was truly going and what was going to happen. So now we're in uncharted territory because this is the plan B.
Mm-hmm.
This you can argue this might be the plan C or D or E, because you would never want to plan for the guy in the head of the storyline to get injured. You're world champion, you're a guy that's on TV every week. I mean, you named Monday Night Rollins. Like, there's only a few handful of guys that get that type of moniker.
Right.
So it's like, this has to be so, they're like I said, uncharted waters. We're figuring it out as we go, because who knows where this was going, but we all know that it was eventually going to Seth and Braun at some point. And now I don't know. Yeah, Paul's definitely trying to get his Emmy this year. And again, I feel like this had to be a Paul heavy episode, because I feel like we got to clear a lot of narratives up really quick, because we're already almost to Saturday night's main event. And then a few weeks after that, we're going to be at War Games at Survivor Series. And that's another thing. I wanted to say that earlier. I think that Sammy kind of had to drop the title because he's probably going to be involved in War Games again, I would guess. Because there's got to be some bloodline, something going on in the War Games match. Like, maybe at that point, Jay has like not gone like completely heel, but like him and Jimmy are at odds. So maybe it's like a look.
Yeah.
And so it's like a maybe to bring you back. I'm gonna take you on, me versus you, our teams against each other at War Games, and maybe that leads Jay to make some questionable choices for his team. Maybe he goes and all of a sudden recruits Braun and Bronson, and everybody's like, "Whoa, dude, what the hell? Like, why are you recruiting those guys to be on your team?" And so, I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities, a lot of stuff picking up.
All right, so we'll get back to it here at the end, but let's talk about the middle championship matches. First, we have the tag team match: AJ Styles, Dragon Lee versus the Judgment Day. And surprising, I didn't realize this was only the second time they defended the titles, like in their title reign this time around. Like
20 or 150 something days, only defended
only
them. This is the second time.
That's kind of nuts. I mean, I guess I didn't realize that, because they're on the show like every week in one form or another, doing singles matches, whatever, shenanigans in the clubhouse, whatever it may be. How surprised are you they dropped the titles?
Not terribly, honestly. Okay. I think that AJ Lee, the tag team, as we're dubbing them, I think that AJ and Dragon Lee, I feel like this was one of those, like, you've watched wrestling so much that you kind of see these thrown together tag teams and you kind of just get a gut feeling. I was like, yeah, it kind of feels like, and it also feels like the natural story progression, because now with the Judgment Day, we've talked about them falling out and all that stuff, but now with the Judgment Day, you've got the Finn and JD lost their championship because of Dom. Because Dom went and ran his mouth. So you can argue that this match would have happened anyways at some point. But right now you can point fingers to Dom. And then we'll talk about his defense in a minute. But now that Finn and JD have dropped the tag titles, that kind of clears way for maybe Finn and Dom for that Intercontinental Championship eventually at some point, which is what we've kind of been thinking was going to happen for the longest time. And then maybe from there, you can even do a situation where Dom drops the title to Finn, and then whenever Dom has nobody else to turn to, he goes to turn to Roxanne, who has been like kind of, as we saw last night, Raquel was like, all right, you two, that's enough of that. Back off a little bit. Let's room for Jesus, all that kind of stuff. And so I feel like at some point, Dom's going to have nobody else to turn to except for Roxanne, who has been presenting herself to Dom a little more lately. And then she's going to say, oh, I wasn't doing that for you. This was all a part of Finn's plan or something like that. And I feel like it's going to be all a part of Finn's plan to get Roxanne close to Dom and just get him to the lowest of lows. And then maybe Liv comes back and he tries to get back with her, and she even turns him down because she's like, look, I saw what you were doing while I was gone with Roxanne, and whatever. And so, again, I think all roads for Dom lead back to Ray, and then him and Ray are going to have that last little run together. And I think we're closer than we've ever been. And, yeah, I think that this was not only easy to see for me personally, but I feel like it was the natural progression of the storyline we've got going forward. So now you can give AJ and Dragon Lee a nice little run with the title. They'll probably hold it for like 2 months or so, but even if they only hold it for 2 months, they're probably going to defend it 6 or 7 times,
Oh,
which
dude,
is
AJ
way
Styles
more
is
than Judgment Day.
he's
So
all over the place, dude. Like, I mean, he's got to wrestle some of the most matches this year and some of the best matches. Like I said, that tag team match was great. That Cena match was great. Like AJ's just he's hitting it hard before his retirement year, you know.
yeah,
So I'm curious. Like I said, I mean, I like that Dragon Lee's got the title as well because I feel like I said, Dragon Lee puts in some great work, and I'm glad that like I said, originally I thought it was like going to be him and Rey Mysterio, right, as the tag team partners and whatnot, and then obviously with Rey Mysterio being out. So I'm glad Dragon Lee got in on it. You know, talking about Dirty Dom though, it makes me think, like he's eventually going to be alone in a sense, maybe at least by your booking. Seth Rollins is alone. What if we got Dirty Rollins when Rollins comes back after Ray retires? Let's say Ray and Dom run their thing together, and then whatever. But still, nobody wants to hang out with Dom, because Judgment Day kicked him. Nobody else wants him. Seth comes back. Nobody wants to hang out with Seth. They're the two loners. Dirty Rollins, baby. Dirty Rollins tag team.
Well, as fun as that would be, I think that 2026 is going to be the year of establishing Dirty Dom as a main eventer. And I think that past 2026, because I think the Rey Mysterio storyline with him like redeeming himself to his father and having no one else to fall back on but his father, and then they go and win those. And then imagine if they do like a whole tribute to Eddie Guerrero, and their last run is just a big tribute to Eddie. And so I feel like that's where Ray retires. And
Yeah,
I feel like Ray retiring and passing his mask, because I feel like he might legitimately take his mask off when he's done, like in the ring at WrestleMania. And so I feel like 2026 might be the run of Dom and Ray leading into that amicable, like father versus son, last time ever at WrestleMania 43. And I think that that is going to be what really brings Dominic's character full circle. He's gone through the rough growing pains of being fresh in the business with a veteran legendary dad. Then he breaks off and goes through his angsty teen phase. And then he faces betrayal and heartache and love and hurt and desperation. And then he brings it all back to his dad, who's standing there, and he's like, you see why I was the way I was, son? You see why I treated you and did the things I did? And Dom's like, you know what, Dad? Yeah, I see things in a different light. And so then you bring it all together. And now Dom is this grown man who has not only shown that he can wrestle, and he's gotten in better physical shape for some of the people that were critiquing his physique, but then also showed you that he can have legit storytelling in the ring, and has gotten better in the ring as well. So I think that we're seeing the full circle of Dirty Dom. I think we're about 80% there, 75% there. I think we're on the home stretch of Dom into his 30s being one of the top faces of the company for the next decade. Yeah.
I don't know if I can see Dom as a world heavyweight champion.
Maybe not now, but in 2 years, Dominic in 2 years, because a year ago you didn't like Dom at all. No, and now a year from now, a year later,
that whole AJ Styles bit with him and Dom, that was so much fun.
And Matt, you're saying that now. Wait till you're holding back tears when him and Ray hug in the ring at WrestleMania.
Right. No, I get that he's a draw. I'm not saying he's not a draw.
Right.
But I'm saying, we're about to talk about the Intercontinental Championship match with Rusev.
Yeah.
It's like putting him in a ring with Rusev. You gotta have shenanigans for him to win. So
that's the beautiful thing about pro wrestling.
If Braun Breaker's the heavyweight champion, if he's a face, because faces don't do shenanigans. I don't know how.
Well, and he doesn't have to be like full on babyface, but I mean, like Eddie Guerrero, before Eddie passed, went on this whole redemption arc of like, I was an addict, and now I'm better for my family and for myself. And he went on this great run of like fighting off his demons and stuff. And when he did that, he won over the crowd, where you can see now with Dirty Dom, it doesn't matter when he cheats. They cheer for him. They love it. They eat that shit up.
Exactly. No, I love it. But
so he doesn't have to go full blown babyface. But I feel like he's just gonna reach a level, because by that point he'll be like 30, 31. And so it's like, as two people who have reached their 30s, you see the world a lot differently than you did when you were 25, even when you're at 30. And so it's like, I feel like the crowd, look, at this point, he's been around so long that kids are going to grow up watching him. And in 2 years, some 5-year-old's going to be like, yeah, Dirty Dom's been my favorite wrestler my whole life. And so anything is possible in pro wrestling, bro.
Like
Anything.
What I love about Dom are the shenanigans. So like I said, let's talk about the Intercontinental Championship against Rusev, which on paper, Dom should never win. And somehow he's beaten Rusev twice now. Twice.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, dude. Look, these matches, Dom is so much fun. I hate that I didn't like him at first because I don't think I understood his character all the way, and I've really enjoyed and I like the fact that nobody in the Judgment Day really likes him. I like the fact that, like, you feel like he's like a little brother. He's like an annoying little brother. It's like, and you don't know how the little brother got the championship. Like, if Finn's the older brother, it's like, how the hell? How the hell did I get pinned by you and you have the championship sort of thing? But look, these title defenses have been great. All of them so far. Like, I mean, him and Sammy, like I said, the mid-card title defenses this past, 6 months have just been, fantastic. And so I don't know what to say here. Like I said, there's a weird Rusev Penta thing going on now. Penta's just mixing it up with everybody, it appears. I don't know, friend or foe, Penta just mixes it up with everybody. And obviously Penta wants the title as well. And Rusev got in the way last week in a sense, so Penta getting in the way this week. I don't know, man. I mean, what's up with all these shenanigans? What do you think? How much longer does Dom keep the title, and who takes it off of him? Maybe that's the better question.
I don't think he holds on to it too much longer. I think we're probably reaching the end of it, but I feel like maybe I saw something about it last night, but I guess I'm mistaken. But if they did announce it and I missed it, ignore my stupidity. But I feel like this is headed towards a triple threat: him, Rusev, and Penta. And maybe that's a good spot for him to drop it. Maybe Finn can cost him the title in that match if we're not going to do like Finn taking the title.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So maybe that's where we cost the match. And then let's not forget he still has the AAA Mega Championship, which I think he's probably going to drop to Dragon Lee. I think there's a pretty good chance he does that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they have a match coming up, and it looks like Dragon Lee is getting pretty over in Mexico as like one of their bigger baby faces. So I just wouldn't be too shocked if he does drop them both quick, and then all of a sudden we're sitting there with a Dirty Dom who's got no titles and everybody's annoyed with him.
Right.
So I think that it's going to be soon that he drops it. If it's not Rusev or Penta in a triple threat, because I feel like that could be realistic, I think it's Finn in some way. I think it's one of those three that are coming up. I don't think anybody else really makes sense for me, unless we're going to somehow do John Cena and Dirty Dom, which I know a lot of people like, and I want as well, which would make sense if you want John Cena to go after the Intercontinental title, considering that's the only title he hasn't won. So that would make sense, but outside of those four, I guess if I'm throwing Cena in, nobody else really makes sense for me.
I mean, I like the Finn idea, obviously. I mean, dude, like I said, when we talk about the Battle Royale later, well, there's more of that drama coming up because, like, everybody was saving each other or hurting each other. And so it was really interesting to see yet again this dynamic that the Judgment Day had between Finn, JD, and Dom, just this weird dynamic. But man, Rusev getting it hard last night, dude. I mean, ouch, from behind. Ouch.
Yeah.
Right in the family jewels from behind.
Dude, like, when he dropped the kick, I was like, oh, he reached too far. I think he actually kicked him.
I think he did too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you fake that, especially when you're coming from behind. I feel like if you're going like forward, you know better how to gauge where to put your foot. But when you're coming from the backside, your foot could catch things on accident just because it's the way the foot's shaped and the way things are down there.
Yeah, dude.
So, whoa, dude. Like, I mean,
I think he caught.
I'm surprised there wasn't some, or like in the Battle Royale, like Rusev just like ripping Dom's head off, like in real life. I mean,
right.
God bless America, man. That felt like it needed something else. But no, I'm curious if there's a triple threat. That'd be fun. I like right now. I'm enjoying seeing different ways that Dom wins.
Right.
Like one week it's this, the next week it's the hammer in the boot. This week try the hammer in the boot. That didn't work, so I'm going to kick you in the jewels from behind. I mean, it's just been it's been fun to see the shenanigans. I guess like he loses when they run out of fun ways for Dom to win, right?
I
Is
mean,
that
I could see a situation where it's a triple threat between him, Rusev, and Penta, and maybe he's like in a position where he asks, like Judgment Day, like Finn and JD are there, and he asks for like help, and they just kind of like leave him hanging, and then he turns around and eats a move from. I think it should probably be Rusev that wins it, just because. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad if Penta won it
I
either.
feel like Penta should have won it like 5 months ago, and like that
Yeah,
window might have
true.
closed or something. I don't know if it's still open, but it felt like Penta was going to win it, and like it was a perfect title for him, 5 months ago, and then he didn't win it. And
Well,
now we just been Penta's
honestly,
been all over
dude,
the place.
I miss the days of titles kind of hot potatoing back and forth a little bit. I'm not saying it needs to happen all the time. I love long title runs just as much as the next person, but I would love to see a situation where Penta, like I said, he's like, oh, help me, throw me the title. And they don't. And then Finn and JD leave him. He turns around, eats a Mexican destroyer. Boom, Penta takes the title. I would love to see a situation where Penta and Rusev feud over that title and hot shot it back and forth like 2 or 3 times, like over the course of like 3 months. I would love to see that.
I mean, I
And
would
then
love to see.
whoever ends up in the best of three gets the title.
I mean, I'd love to see just Penta and Rusev a serious period. I think that'd be a lot
True.
of fun. I mean,
Yeah.
like you said, right now, like both those guys, very good at what they do with 2 completely different styles in a lot of ways. So it's a fun mix of styles when it comes to the match and whatnot. The big power with the power moves, and then Penta with his Mexican destroyers and his high flying antics and whatnot. Really good. I feel like chemistry between the two of those guys. I really would like a series between them.
Yeah.
So
I'm right there with you.
all right, next up we got another title match, man.
Yeah.
Now we got the women. We got the Intercontinental Women's match. Becky Lynch and Maxine Dupree.
Yeah.
We saw the week before, or was it just last week, or was
2
it
weeks ago?
2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, where Becky lost because she got a count out in a match that wasn't for the title. But I guess it wouldn't matter anyways. Count out, is that disqualification or something then? So
no, so lost. Count out and DQ, you can't lose the title.
Right, so she could have lost it anyways, I guess, in the count out. But I mean, what tell me about this match, because you know probably more about Maxine Dupree than I do. Like I said, for me, this is like a second or third time I've seen her. So
yeah. Look, she's been training hard in the dungeon. I think she's made a lot of improvements. She's been working hard with Natalya, and look, this has gone basically exactly how I would have booked it, and basically how it did from the jump. I hate to be like I called this, but like I did in a way. I thought that Maxine was going to get I thought maybe she was going to get a roll up win in the first match, but count out also works. And then in this match, another really good match between the two ends in a disqualification by Becky, champion's advantage. She keeps the title. I wouldn't be shocked if we get one more between them and they add the stipulation where Adam Pearce will add the stipulation. Hey, look, if you get counted out or disqualified, you lose the title anyways, because we've seen that before. So I wouldn't be shocked if we get one more match between them, maybe a Saturday night's main event. And I think that's where Becky gets the solidified win over her.
Okay,
but I also
Becky keeps it.
Yeah, I do. I think she does. I think if Maxine were to win it, I think it would be to immediately drop to someone else.
Yeah, I mean, like who?
Very soon after,
or Becky comes right back and takes it right back the next week or something.
Maybe, but it really feels like it's going to be like a really hard fought match that Maxine's going to be like this close to winning like 5 times, and then Becky's just going to like pull it out at the very end and pick up the win. But I think that this is more about establishing Maxine as someone to take seriously on the roster and not just someone that's a valet for Otis and Akira Tozawa. I think that this is just to solidify her as a real player on the women's roster. And now maybe we can get Maxine and Natalya for the tag titles or something like that. I think that would be a good starting point for her after this really good series, because now people know she can really wrestle. Yeah, they know she's not just a really, really beautiful person.
No, I'm with you. Like that match 2 weeks ago felt like Becky was carrying a lot of it,
Yeah.
This match last night felt like Maxine was much more proficient, I guess, like maybe they had more time to work things out or work out stuff and how they're going to do it.
Well, I think it's the dynamic too. I think the first one was a lot of Becky like, oh, I'm the man, and like she does a big move and she taunts the crowd. It's like heel 101, but I feel like in this one it was like, okay, now we've gotten a little bit of the shock and awe of like, oh, Maxine can do that, Maxine can do this. We've gotten that out of the way for in the first match. Now we can kind of let them be loose a little bit and just go out there and wrestle. It doesn't have to be so much like playing off to the crowd and stuff like just a
didn't feel
little
like
bit of that. But
I felt more that Becky was selling a lot of Maxine's moves 2 weeks ago a lot,
yeah,
really well. Like Becky
fair.
Lynch. Like one thing about Becky and Seth, that family, they make you look good. You know,
they do.
Like
they
you know,
do.
they are going to make you look good. There's some, like I said, there's a lot of guys in the company that make you look good, but Becky's one of the women. Like I said, Rhea always makes you look good. You know,
She will.
She's going to take that beating and make you look like you deserve to be in that ring. You know, Becky does too. Like I said last week, but this match, it felt like she didn't have to make Maxine look good as much as she did 2 weeks ago. So I was very impressed by Maxine's kind of command last night. I felt like she was much more confident in what she was doing, maybe, you know. So, anyways, I was happy to see that because I wasn't really excited for this match. Period. You know, I mean,
really,
like I'm not a Maxine Dupree. I'd get back to Bailey, get back to Lyra, get back to some of these other ladies. I'm not anti Maxine Dupree. Like now I'm more for, but like Stephanie Vaquer, there's so many. I mean, it's crazy to say there are so many good female wrestlers. You know, the Kabuki Warriors, you know, they cut that whole promo on Rhea, you know. I mean, like so many good female wrestlers. That's like, do I need Maxine Dupree? Does she, you know? And so I feel like last night she made a case to people like me that, you know, put her back in the ring. And now I want to see a third match between them. And I wouldn't be surprised if she picked up the win somehow. Whereas, like, you know, so that's just kind of
because Maxine Dupree is 2-0 against Becky Lynch right now in the last two matches. So you know, hey,
technically, yeah. So
all right. So let's see. Speaking of Stephanie Vaquer, we got Stephanie Vaquer versus Roxanne Perez.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing too special here. I thought it was a good enough match. I thought it was pretty fun. I'd love to see a storyline between these two down the road where maybe we get some more build and Roxanne is a little more established in the brand. Maybe in a year or two. I think this could be a killer feud. But I think this was a really good Monday Night Raw match, and I think that this was the obvious winner. Stephanie had to win this match.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the only takeaway from this was the post-match shenanigans, which we
of
knew
course
was going to happen, and then that Nikki Bella came out. Like I didn't know that her and Stephanie had any connection, really. Like
they just had some backstage interactions where they've been like arguing with other people, and the others come up to like been like, "Hey, don't do that." I really think it's just leading to Nikki versus Stephanie at some point where maybe.
So I didn't know if it was like some sort of like friendship, like we're gonna.
I think it's going to be like a friendship.
I mean,
maybe they tag once. I think they tag once.
Raquel, Roxanne. Right, we're gonna see
probably Saturday night's main event. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Saturday night's main event. It's Vaquer and Bella versus Judgment Day, and then I wouldn't be shocked if Nikki turns on her there, and then we can properly build to Survivor Series, and then we get Nikki versus Stephanie. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you brought Nikki Bella back not to be a mid carder, and you didn't bring her back to be a lower carder. She's a Hall of Famer. You brought her back to be in the main event scene, and the only way you get there is by having Stephanie turn heel, by having Nikki turn heel, or you do a white meat babyface versus a white meat babyface, and nobody wants the third option. We want one of them to be a heel.
You know, it's funny, but I'm thinking about it now. It's like Nikki Bella to me is like Becky Lynch's CM Punk.
In what way? Tell me.
Like in the Punk, as Punk is to Seth, I feel like in some ways Nikki Bella is that to Becky, and they're not doing it. Like I feel like they should be. I feel like that should be that.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like because AJ Lee, I don't know what they're gonna do with AJ Lee if they're gonna bring her back more.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. I mean, she just showed up for like the couples match, and now she's back home.
Now she's gone.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, but that
maybe she had a book tour.
Maybe. I mean, if it's not, if AJ Lee isn't that, then I feel like Nikki Bella is the closest comparison in a sense. Somebody where I feel like they're never going to be friends or whatever. They're never going to get along. Like, and I could see like Becky Lynch coming out there and like getting in the way of a match and costing Nikki Bella like a championship match. Like, you're never winning the championship as long as the whole thing.
Right.
You know, I can see that for Nikki Bella. So, anyways, all right. And then I guess what? Then we got the Battle Royale?
Yeah, all right, real quick. Here are the entrants for the number one contenders Battle Royale for Saturday night's main event. It was
Otis,
Rusev. You ready? Rusev, Ivar, Grayson Waller, Kofi Kingston, Dom Mysterio, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Akira Tozawa, Otis, El Grande Americano, Penta, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, LA Knight, yeah, AJ Styles, Dragon Lee, and Sheamus.
Oh, did you get Eric and Ivar in there too?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, I mean, like, dude,
Yeah,
it
bro.
was like a
Yeah.
Royal Rumble. I mean, I don't know
Yep.
how often these battle royales happen, but
Yeah, they happen every now and then.
What
yeah.
a treat for the audience who didn't probably know that that's what they were getting when they walked in. You know, like, what a treat, and then what a damn disappointment at the end.
Yeah. Look, I thought it was really funny, Dom getting eliminated and no one saw it, and he was like,
dude, like I said, yet again, Dom shenanigans, dude. Gotta love it. Yeah. Well, but here's the other thing. Like I said, here's the other thing. Okay, couple notes going in there. All right. So I think Eric's the big one. Is Eric the big one?
Ivar is so Eric is the bald one. Ivar is the one with long hair.
Okay, but
I think
is Eric like the bald one?
No, that's Ivar.
Okay, Ivar. One of them was kicking butt. I can't remember which one.
Ivar's the one that does like the somersault and the moonsault off the top rope.
Right,
that's
Ivar.
That's Ivar. I
Ivar
think
was kicking butt.
Somebody's gonna call me out and they're gonna say like, actually, you got it backwards.
Yeah, we got it backwards. You know, hey, look. Sorry, they're a tag team. Sometimes I don't remember, and I don't know if they've had.
Ivar is the one that is the bigger one of the two.
Okay, so Ivar then was rocking it out. Rusev, obviously, and Penta were rocking it out, having a good time. Sheamus, always love when Sheamus shows up, but he did the 10 beats of the Baldwin. He did it on JD and on Finn. And what's funny is before that, JD and Finn come and help Dom yet again before Dom gets thrown out earlier in the match. And then what does Dom do? I love it. Like I said, go watch again. That camera angle. He's in the corner. Calorie doesn't go stop Sheamus at all. Could have helped either of those guys. Doesn't do it. I'm telling you, man. I mean, like, I wanna hate Finn for when he turns on Dom, but I can't because Dom is just he doesn't.
That's the thing, bro. It's gonna be justified, and we're gonna be. That's the thing. The whole redemption of Dom. It just plays into the whole thing. Yeah.
But I mean, all right. So were there the early moments you want to talk about before we get to the end? And
not really, dude. I mean, look, it was a fun battle royal. If you've seen battle royals before, it's about what you expect from a battle royal. It was really fun.
You didn't watch it, like that's something. Just I mean, honestly, said this episode of Raw. If you didn't see it, go tune in. The matches were pretty top notch across the board. Mm-hmm. But just a lot of fun here. Like I said, just watch it, enjoy it. But we got Jimmy saving Jay from certain whatever elimination at least twice, and then Jay eliminates Jimmy, which works for the story. But can I tell you how not excited I am for Jay versus CM Punk?
Yeah, can I agree with you? I'm not at all, dude. It's like of the choices that I thought might win, which was Jay, LA Knight. And maybe in a small percentage, Jimmy.
Dude,
maybe.
Dude, for a second there, I was like, what if Dirty Dom wins? And then what if he beats Punk and he's got the Intercontinental Championship? I mean, for a second there, I was like,
imagine how insufferable he would be. It would be so excellent, bro. It would be so great.
He just went backstage after beating Punk, right? Let's say he wins and goes backstage after beating Punk and just turns to Finn and goes, here's the Intercontinental Championship. I don't need it anymore.
You can just have it.
You can have it.
Yeah.
I took it from you. You can have it finally.
This one's better. This one's better, actually.
All right. So, how unexcited are you? Now, the other part is, I wonder, had we known that this was going to happen, if they would have put CM Punk as being the other guy. You know what I mean? I don't know, because they've been so high on Punk lately, but I feel like we've run this rodeo like 3 times already now. And the other thing I'm shocked about is, I'll admit, we had Paul back there telling the Bronze, now's not the time, was like, be political, let's do this, whatever. But I'm still surprised that Braun Breaker didn't run out there, or Bronson, or both of them weren't out there at some point, just, tearing somebody up. I mean, I don't know. So, look, I really wanted LA Knight to win this. By God, I want LA Knight to have the championship. I do. I want him to have the chip. I don't want Punk to have it. I don't want Jay to have it. So now I'm screwed because one of them is going to get it. Like, I don't know how we avoid that on Saturday Night Main Event. You know,
I'm kind of hoping we see, like, I know people would be so pissed off if it actually happened, but I'm kind of hoping we see a no contest where a champion is not crowned,
like
and it creates more
would that work? Like, they
controversy.
both get counted out or something? Like what
Maybe, or somebody interferes, and it's like, or maybe somebody interferes, and they've done silly things. Maybe they do it like they both get attacked at the same time, so it's a double disqualification or something like that. I would love to see a situation where they don't actually like crown a champion, so then maybe you could throw like a Braun Breaker in there, or you could find a way to throw an LA Knight in there, or maybe even both. You make it a fatal 4-way at Survivor Series or something. I don't know, man.
You know what you do? You bring Brock Lesnar. Let's finally use him again. Let's bring Brock
where's he
Lesnar
at?
in there. Let's have him screw everything up. And then let's have Brock Lesnar, Braun Breaker, because that's what I really want to see right now.
Well, there's rumors about Brock and Braun at Mania for next year. So now that Seth is out of the equation, that's the big rumor. So
I mean, I would love to see that with Paul Heyman not knowing what like that. The fact that we haven't seen, you know, I don't know.
I know.
I figured he would have come back again by now. You know, so.
Well, Jey Uso wins, last eliminating Dom Mysterio. So we're going to get Jey Uso and CM Punk at Saturday night's main event again. And it's for the World Heavyweight Championship. I feel like CM Punk is the obvious choice, but it also feels like at this point, this has to be the time that you do something with Jey in terms of like actually sending him on a darker path. You have to. It has to happen.
That was the only nice thing at the end. I don't know if you caught the camera angle, but when Punk and Jey were face to face in the ring, like going, yeah, you ready? Jimmy's right there in between them, and it was such a great camera angle.
Yes, bro.
Like I said, production value, WWE. Like I said, the way they hit it. Like I said, when getting Dom not helping when the Sheamus thing and getting him in the corner, and you can even see like the fear in his eyes in a sense. Like, I don't want to touch Sheamus, but oh my God, JD's getting 10 beats of the Baldwin, you know? Oh, what should I do?
Right.
You know? And I love those little details that, you know, that you can just catch, you know? I just love it, you know? But so the fact like that Jimmy, the only thing I like is that Jey could be going heel here. And I want a full-blown Jey. I don't want no BS heel story. I want full-blown Jey Uso. I want people not yeeting. I want to be so bad when he comes out. He's like, yeet, 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 and nobody's doing it with him.
I want the opposite. I want everybody to do it, and he just ignores them.
I mean, that'd be good too. No,
because they're not going to stop doing it. No, they're not going to stop doing it.
No, that'd be how you start it, you know. Like, he would not be doing, just come out there being all angry. But then once people stop doing it, he wanted to get them to do it, and they're like, boo! You know, that's what I want.
Yeah. All right, what did you think of this episode of Monday Night Raw and last episode of SmackDown? How's everything going for you in the wrestling scene right now? Drop it down in the comments. Are you excited for CM Punk and Jey Uso? Unlike
are we wrong? Is that
are we wrong?
A match you want to? I thought Casey might want to see it. The fact that neither of us want to see it, like you said, do one of you want to see it? What's up?
I need a little something extra. I need a little lanyap. I need a little something extra on top. But yeah, let us know what you thought about it in the comments. Are you excited about the match? Do we have clearance to make an announcement today, or do we need to wait till next episode?
Let's wait. Still,
we'll wait. You know? No worries. I mean, so we got a big announcement coming up.
Almost got a guarantee. It made the email made it feel like it was a guarantee, but still, I'm all very weird about counting chickens before they hatch because anything could happen.
100%.
I still don't know if I'm allowed to say anything. Period. You know, like I don't know.
If maybe we ask. Maybe we ask about it. Yeah, just be like, hey, can we mention a little something on our pod or something? But hey, look, it almost feels like confirmed something big next year for TK Wrestling happening. So just keep an eye and an ear out, and we will let you know when we know that we can let you know. So,
but just know that you're watching one of the coolest wrestling podcasts with Casey Jones giving you the real stuff and me giving you the everyday fan.
Hey, I was about to say it wouldn't be TK Wrestling without Matt Dye showing that unbridled enthusiasm and willingness to learn about just wrestling in general. So it's a dynamic that you shouldn't miss out on every week. So make sure you come back. Make sure you drop a like on the video, drop those comments, and let us know how wrong we are about everything we said. I'm open to all the debates in the world. So until next week or until next show, this has been TK Wrestling, and we're going to get out of here.